Good morning, everybody, and happy holidays. Welcome to the December 3rd Pinellas County Board of Adjustment and Appeals hearing. We received your cases in advance, and we have studied them, and in some cases, visited the sites. Members should announce the sites that were visited during discussion. Please understand we do not bring these cases. We are citizens tasked with weighing the evidence submitted in order to make the most informed decision possible. We have no personal interest or stake in these cases except for the overall good of the community. Staff has made a recommendation on each case, and that recommendation is input only and may not necessarily be the opinion of this board. If you're planning to speak for or against any application, you must be sworn in prior to testifying. If you have not been sworn in, please do so now with the clerk at the front right table, which is over there. This is how we will proceed. When your case is called by staff, the applicant should come to the podium and give us your name and address. The applicant will then present their case, including comments from any supporters in attendance. Comments by supporters should be new information, not just an expression of support. The applicant may display the volume of support by show of hands. Speakers will have 3 minutes. Opponents will then be given an opportunity to state their objection. If there are numerous opponents, it is preferable for them to select 1 or 2 spokespersons. Speakers will have 3 minutes. Any subsequent objectors should add new information, not just rehash prior stated objections. Opponents also may display the volume of objectors by a show of hands. This will be the only opportunity for opponents to state their side. The applicant will then return to the podium solely to rebut the comments of any opponents and may not bring any new information or testimony at that time. Finally, we will close the public hearing and the board will discuss the case, make a motion, and vote. Now, our attorney will provide additional information on our procedures.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The matters heard by the Board of Adjustment and Appeals are quasi-judicial in nature. Please note that only competent, substantial, fact-based testimony or evidence may be considered by the board in deciding the matters before it. Pure speculation or opinion, not based on competent facts, cannot be legally considered by the board. Lay testimony with fact-based support, including but not limited to meeting minutes, surveys, engineering reports, etc., may be considered competent substantial evidence. Also, I have 2 other items of quick note. One is site visits. I'd like to bring that up. Just if you've gone to see the sites, please raise that at the beginning of the opening of the case. And then we do have open litigation now on a vote from the October meeting, the Dream Center case. We have an appeal on that. So if you hear from anybody involved in that matter, I would advise you to avoid those conversations.
If we get an email, do you want that email sent to you or whatever? I know
That would be appropriate.
Okay, because I know at one point that's one of the attorneys wanted that.
Yeah, we are now under there's attorney-client privilege, and the county's public attorneys get that later than the private sector guys do. We don't get it until we actually get a threat of litigation or an actual lawsuit. But now that we have open litigation, it falls within that realm. So yes, any correspondence you get, I'd love to know about.
Okay. Which case is that there?
Dream Center in Loma.
Okay. Okay. With that, Molly, please call the first case.
Right. Thank you. Good morning, Madam Chair and board members. Molly Cord, Principal Planner on behalf of Pinellas County BDRS. The first case is VAR-25-15. This is a variance to allow for the construction of a covered patio addition having a 4.86-foot rear setback from the northern property line where 10 feet is required for the RPD zone property located at 1087 Murfield Court in East Lake Tarpon. Staff's recommendation is conditional approval. The subject property is located within the Cypress Run Residential Master Plan Development, specifically Lot 36 of Cypress Run Villas East on the west side of East Lake Road. This residential plan development consists of 38 condominium units in a combination of 1- and 2-story buildings. This property specifically is an interior unit of a 4-unit single-family attached dwelling that is surrounded by common area and abuts a private road along the rear. The owner would like to construct a new 9.16-foot by 30-foot 4-inch 1-story covered patio addition at the rear of the property, utilizing the existing concrete slab. The proposed addition would be situated approximately 4.86 feet from the rear property line, where a minimum setback of 10 feet is required for this development. The owner has indicated that the request for the variance stems from a lack of drainage control, wind resistance, and the overall protection of the living spaces at both the upper and lower levels of the existing residential structure, specifically to the rear. Due to the recent storm events, specifically Hurricane Milton and Hurricane Helene, it further highlighted some of these design flaws of the unit. Both storms compromised the existing roof structure, the decking, the side paneling, framing, windows, and doors due to the inadequate drainage control. The proposed patio addition intends to address and mitigate these issues, which would further enhance the durability and the resilience of the property. The property owner also plans for the roof line of this patio addition to be visually unobtrusive and would be in harmony with the neighboring homes in this development. Additionally, it would not extend past the common walls of the existing building. The owner has also obtained approval from the HOA for the covered patio addition and also received 2 letters of support from the abutting property owners. No other setback reductions are being requested by the owner, and the side setback requirements for the interior units are actually 0 feet, so it's just the rear setback that's being requested here today. And additionally, the request does not conflict with the existing Cypress Run Development Master Plan, and approval should be subject to the following conditions as outlined in the staff report.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, come on up. And please give me your name and address.
David Cardew, 1087 Muirfield Court, Tarpon Springs, Florida.
Thomas McHugh, 10221 Casey Drive, Newport Richey.
Thank you. Are there any opponents in the audience? Don't see any.
Seeing no objectors, I'm going to move for the staff recommendation of conditional approval in accordance with the findings of fact as outlined in the staff report.
Second.
All right, there's a motion for conditional approval by Mr. Baumstein, a second by Mr. Bellows. Is there any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? You have your variance.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
All right.
Okay, a second case is VAR-25-16. The following variants are being requested for the R2 zoned property that is located at 1848 Dolphin Boulevard, south in unincorporated Gulfport. One being a variance to allow for the construction of an in-ground pool having a 7-foot 6-inch rear setback from water's edge to the midpoint of a seawall where 15 feet from the midpoint of a seawall is required. And 2 being a variance to allow for the construction of the in-ground pool's infinity basin having a 4-foot 6-inch rear setback to the midpoint of a seawall where 15 feet from the midpoint of a seawall is required. And staff's recommendation is conditional approval. The subject property consists of a single-family residential home that is situated on an approximately .22 acre lot along Dolphin Boulevard in unincorporated Gulfport. The owner would like to construct a new in-ground pool and spa with an infinity wall feature on the subject property. The proposed pool and the infinity wall are planned to be positioned closer to the seawall than what is normally allowed by the Land Development Code. Per the Land Development Code, all residential and accessory structures on waterfront lots must maintain a minimum setback of 15 feet from the midpoint of the seawall or riprap stabilization, provided that there is stabilization that is adequate. The owner is seeking a variance to allow a rear setback reduction for the proposed in-ground pool and infinity wall feature. This specific request involves a 7-foot 6-inch setback from the water's edge of the pool to the midpoint of the seawall and a 4-foot 6-inch setback from the infinity basin to the midpoint of the seawall. And as part of this request, the applicant has provided a seawall engineering letter that confirms the span beam tiebacks and the seawall deadmen are engineered to accommodate the pool, the spa, and the infinity basin area. The concept plan also indicates that the other setback requirements, the side setbacks meaning, would be addressed in this request, so it is only the rear setback that is being requested today. In addition, the rear property overlooks Boca Ciega Bay, so there are no rear neighbors that will be directly impacted if this variance is allowed. And approval should be subject to the following conditions as outlined in the staff report.
Thank you. Is the applicant here, please? And when you're called, just come on up, if you don't mind. Your names and addresses, please?
Jim Messerod, 1848 Dolphin Boulevard South, St. Petersburg, Florida, 33707.
Hunter Cataldo, 12950 58th Street North, Clearwater, Florida.
Thank you. Are there any objectors to this?
Seeing no objections, I'm going to move for staff recommendation in accordance with the findings of fact as outlined in the staff report.
Second.
So there is a motion by Mr. Baumstein, a second by Mr. Bello. Is there any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 7-0. So you have your variance.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, the next variance is, the requested variance is VAR-25-14. This variance involves a request for the construction of an in-ground pool having a 5-foot rear setback from water's edge to the southern property line, where 8 feet is required for the R4 zone property located at 735 Patterson Street in unincorporated Largo. Staff's recommendation is denial. The subject property is a vacant .22 acre residential lot intended for the construction of a new 2-story detached single-family home. The vacant property is approximately 44.4 feet in width and 155 feet in depth. The lot begins as a relatively narrow parcel at the front and gradually widens as the property lines extend towards the rear of the property. The owner has indicated that the construction of the new single-family home on this lot would comply with all required building setback requirements. In addition to the development of the single-family home, the owner would like to construct an in-ground pool. The owner is seeking relief to allow for the construction of a new in-ground pool having a 5-foot rear setback from water's edge of the pool to the southern property line, where an 8-foot setback is required for the Land Development Code. A pool screen enclosure is not included within this variance application. Staff finds that the request does not meet the criteria for granting a variance under Section 138-231 of the Land Development Code. Specifically, there are no special conditions or unnecessary hardships, and the request does not represent the minimum variance that is necessary. Staff also notes that the future single-family home could be redesigned to accommodate the placement of an in-ground pool to meet all setback requirements. And to note, we did receive 2 letters of support for this request from the western and northern property owners. So,
Is the applicant here, please? Come on up, please. Your name and address?
It's Josh Patterson, and my current address is 1013 North Garden, Clearwater, Florida.
Okay, since it's a now, can you tell us what you want to do?
Yeah, I did redesign the property seven times, and I had another survey done. Basically, the property is shaped like a cone or like a wedge, and as a result of moving the property, the design that I made 7 times, moving it further and further north significantly reduces the square footage of the home and impacts the design that I made. And so I requested the variance for the pool in the back for a couple more feet. There's no property to the east side, and then the south side property is further all the way down to the next intersection. So it's not a throughway, and no one will ever go through there. It's just me and my family.
Mr. Patterson, could you put this down on the table in front of you? Lay it on top of that county logo. There's a camera in the ceiling that will pick it up and we'll be able to see it.
Okay.
Face up.
This way.
On the logo, right there, yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Could you explain to me exactly where the pool is going on this property? Can you point to it on that map?
Yeah. So here would be the bottom, the southeast corner and southwest corner, and then northwest, and then northeast.
So that rectangle, the entire rectangle, the length of the lot, the width of the lot will be a pool?
So that's not all water. So on the left, on the west part of it was like patio space, and on the east part of it was patio space. 16 feet of it on the west part is all patio, kind of where my finger is here. And then this part is patio as well. So the pool is just in the center, and it's 10 feet wide. And I think it was, so it would be maybe 30 feet long.
And everything above there is the proposed house, except
So-
for the driveway area?
So this is the house.
Correct.
There's an attached garage, which makes it look rather large. I'm an engineer, and so I have lots of equipment in a pretty large family. So there's this shape here from approximately. So this part is just a very large garage. Is what this is.
So we're dealing with a 3-foot encroachment into the setback line?
Yes.
You got a lot of potatoes in this sack. You're filling up the lot.
I've
you
tried
know,
to.
pretty strongly. And since the house hasn't been built or designed yet, we're only talking 3 feet. There's no way to pick up 3 feet or most of that 3 feet in the house design?
Well, I mean, I had done it 7 times. I'm sure there was a way to do that. Yeah, I just had redesigned it, a multitude of times. And from the last meeting, I redesigned it again and sent the recommendations back. So last time I moved it up 2 more feet, and as a result, it lost like 8 feet on the kitchen. As a result of the property being wedge-shaped, as you move it forward, it reduces a lot of the square footage, because these walls need to be straight, or it would just be weird.
How many square feet in that house?
Approximately 2,500.
I grant you that the lot is an odd shape, but it's a sizable lot still, and we need a hardship. I mean, I'd be happy to help you out, but the law requires us to have grounds for that variance. And the hardship is you want a 2,500-foot house on a lot that probably will only accommodate a 2,300-foot house or something. I mean, that's just not a hardship. The closest you come to a hardship is an irregular shaped lot, but it's not restrictive. It's not, the irregular shape of the lot is not restricting your ability to make this happen.
Yeah, okay, that's kind of what I thought, was just that it was just a difficult lot to, and again, we'd redesigned it 6 or 7 times at this point. Yeah, the last time it was 2 feet. So, yeah, anyway.
3 feet doesn't sound like a lot, but it's almost 40% of the setback. That's the problem. I mean, if it was 1 foot, 1.5 foot, it's 10 or 15% of the setback. But you're talking about a 40% variance. And, it sets precedence for us. In your particular case, it's an 8-foot setback, but when somebody has a 20-foot setback and they want 40% variance, it's a lot of footage. So it's
So would a foot or 2 be acceptable?
yeah, if you could get it under 2 feet, like 1.5 feet, I could probably live with it, but I still have a hard time justifying it. I mean, my only justification is that it's probably not creating a lot of harm. What's on the other side of that lot line?
So the south part here is another person's property, but their home would be like all the way down here on the next intersection.
Yeah.
And on this side, there's nothing over here. There's I think it's there's train tracks here, and then there's no other properties like way over here.
Your neighbor to the south, if that is the south, has an expectation of reasonable privacy based on the zoning, and they would expect that your construction would meet that setback. If it missed by a foot, it's not a big deal, but missing by 3 feet is a bigger deal.
Okay.
Sir, quick question. What are the 2 bump outs on the drawing that you show there, the 16-foot and the 12.4? of the structure? The two bump outs that are closest to the pool? Nope, nope.
That are close here?
Yep, 16 foot and 12.4. The
This
bump
right-
outs, not the bump, yep,
Yeah.
that's it.
So this here is a dining room, and this here is the master bedroom area.
Okay. My curiosity is, like, if kind of what Mr. Rumsey's saying, is there a possibility of pushing those bump backs to where they're level with the, or in line with the rest of the rear wall of the house, and then therefore you could transfer the entire pool back inside of that inside the setbacks?
Sure, it sounds, well, this room here, you don't have the full layout of the home, but.
Correct.
So this room here where my finger is approximately 16 by 12. And then this here is the dining room, and it's approximately 12 by, I think it's 12 by 10. So moving it 3 more feet would reduce the space of the area like quite a bit.
Right, and then even with the master, like that whole section, probably, I don't have the floor plan, but you could slide it all the way up to where your finger kind of traces, and then, I'm just thinking, like, can you move the back of the building to where it's all in line, and then you can move your pool design,
Yeah,
and you can probably get your pool design to be very close. I mean, is this single story?
I was gonna do a 2-story home, yeah.
Okay, but not on piles or anything like that.
No, I don't need piles there.
So you can probably get pretty close to the angle of repose on the actual foundation of your pool if
Right.
it's designed correctly.
Sure.
And then you could be inside the setback.
Yeah, that's a possibility. I hadn't done that just to create just architectural
Sure.
interest inside the home.
And even if you could, I agree with the architectural interest, and, I think that even if you reduced that bump outs, because right now it looks to be probably about 5 or 4 feet.
It's actually only 3 feet.
Okay, all right. It's hard to scale on this, right?
Yeah, these
Yep.
bump outs are just 3 feet here.
So you could even reduce them just even smaller enough to where it's even just a course of blocks, so it's an 8-inch bump out, right? Just to give you a little bit of a visual difference.
Sure.
I agree, no one wants a big flat wall.
Right, yeah, it wouldn't. Exactly.
So that way you're getting closer in, and I think by narrowing your pool, you're gonna be inside the setbacks, and you wouldn't even have to deal with us.
Sure, yeah, that was a possibility. We did a bunch of research, and a 10-foot wide pool was the one that was most comfortable.
I agree. I would love to have one too, and I have a 15-foot setback, and I can only get an 8-foot pool within my house, and I'm
Okay.
scratching my head, is it even worth it, but I think it is. But I'm also stuck in the same constraints.
Okay. All right.
And that's the hard thing is like Mr. Romsey said, like, we're setting a precedent to where, it's, the 40% is small for you, but, it could be significantly larger for somebody else.
Sure. What we would likely do is if we had maybe a foot or a foot and a half, as you suggested, we would just continue to move the
Yeah,
house up.
making the house move, yeah.
Yeah, and you got a 24-foot garage on the double car.
Yeah.
You could shrink that down to a 20-foot garage door at the standard door. That saved you some money.
I kind of needed the big space. I have several large trucks, and
Yeah.
I run a company as well.
Yeah.
And I design cabinets and hardwood and stuff. So we would just likely move the house up another foot and a half or so if that was permitted. But that's what I would do. And we did that last time, and just for the sake of saying it, the last time we moved it up, it took 8 feet off of this wall here, which was the kitchen wall. And so we just reduced these spaces all in. So this was 21 feet or so, and this was 13 feet. And as we had to move it in quite a bit to just move it up 2 more feet.
Yeah.
But anyway.
I'm trying to give you some other solutions that, are
Sure.
pragmatic and possible without, because
Yeah.
I don't think that, without a hardship, it's a hard case to approve.
The reality is you haven't built the house yet. You're still designing it. Just come up with a design that fits the lot. I mean,
Yeah, we
you're-
could move
You're
it up.
designing something, it just doesn't fit the lot.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not comfortable with it. You're creating your own hardship by the design that you're doing. It's not like you bought a lot with a built house and, it's the only place to put the pool. You've got options here. You haven't yet built the house.
Right.
So, is there a motion of some sort?
Unfortunately, I have to recommend a motion to staff's recommendation for denial based on the,
Madam Chair, did we check to see if there's anyone in the audience that wanted to speak?
Oh. Is there anybody in the audience on this case? Thank you, sorry.
Just apparently.
Okay. Go ahead, Andrew.
so I make a motion to deny based on the staff's recommendation for the facts and finding of the case. And
Is there a second?
I'll second.
There's a motion by Andrew Hunsinger and a second by Mr. Baumstein. Is there any other discussion? All in favor, say aye of the denial.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? So denial passes 7-0.
That's cool. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. This is case number TY2-25-10. This is a request for a type 2 use to allow a medical office in an E1 zone for the property located at 3051 Tech Drive in unincorporated Pinellas Park. Staff's recommendation is conditional approval. The subject property is a 4.22 acre parcel that is developed with an existing two-story, 85,558 square foot office/warehouse building. The site currently accommodates a semi-private training facility used for bodybuilders and professional athletes, and this was approved via Type 2 use TY2-24-01. And there is also a manufacturing/warehouse operation that is known as Dress the Population. There is a prospective tenant that is proposing to occupy approximately 4,800 square feet of the first floor office space for our wellness center that would be situated across from the lobby within the existing fitness center. The proposed wellness center aims to foster collaboration with the existing fitness center that would establish a comprehensive environment that supports the health and aesthetics of both businesses and their clientele. A Type 2 use is required for a standalone medical office within the E1 zoning district. The proposed tenant would share existing access, parking, and stormwater facilities with the rest of the complex. The total required parking is 172 spaces that accounts for both the existing two tenants and the future medical office use. With 215 parking spaces that are provided, there is a surplus of parking that is available to accommodate the addition of this tenant. Additionally, the proposed wellness center is expected to operate primarily on an appointment basis that would focus on serving clients who already utilize the existing fitness center. This business model would likely limit the number of vehicles that enter and exit the site. Therefore, it's not expected that the proposed wellness center would generate excessive vehicular traffic or lead to traffic-related issues. The applicant has also indicated that there would be no new construction or of exterior modifications that is planned, and the other existing uses within the building would remain unchanged. Therefore, approval should be subject to the following conditions as outlined in the staff report.
Thank you. Is the applicant here, please? Come on up. Your name and address?
Morning.
Morning.
Bruce Vaughn with Vaughn Commercial Advisors, 6302 Benjamin Road in Tampa.
Thank you. Are there any opposition, people opposing this item? No, okay. All right.
Seeing no objections, I'm going to move for the staff recommendation of a conditional approval for the Type 2 use based on the findings of fact as outlined in the staff report.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Baumstein, second by Mr. Bello, to accept the conditional approval. Any other discussion? Anybody? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Passes 7-0. You have your variance.
Great, thank you.
For your
Appreciate it.
type 2
Thanks, Mike.
use, actually.
One time so far.
All right, and this is the last case. This is TY2-25-11. This is a request for a Type 2 use to allow auto sales in an E2 zone for the property located at 12388 Starkey Road in unincorporated Largo. Staff's recommendation is conditional approval. The subject property consists of a two-story, 35,000 square foot warehouse located along Starkey Road that features a driveway, a loading dock, and an accessory building. The building was constructed in 1971, where the warehouse previously housed the Suncoast Seabird Sanctuary, which provided care for native birds until its operation ceased. The prospective tenant, which is Toy Barn Cars, intends to occupy the now vacant warehouse and convert the interior into a luxury and exotic car dealership with associated administrative offices. A Type 2 use is required for auto sales in the E2 zoning district. Toy Barn Cars operates on an appointment-based, low-traffic model, specializing in the sale of luxury and exotic vehicles. Most clientele arrange visits in advance to confirm vehicle availability. The applicant has also provided a parking plan that would address the operational needs of the appointment-based dealership. The parking plan also considers the dealership's low customer traffic and primarily non-public usage of most of the interior spaces. All of the vehicular storage and the display would be indoors. There would be no exterior display of vehicles. As I stated, most of the dealership's interior space would be designed for non-public functions such as vehicle storage and preparation, which would not be accessible to clients. Only specific areas, including the showroom and the administrative office, would be open to the public, which further minimizes client access within the building. There would be no vehicular repair services as part of this operation. No modifications to the existing structures or site improvements are planned at this time. All existing facilities would remain in place. Therefore, approval should be subject to the following conditions as outlined in the staff report.
Thank you. Good morning. Your name and
morning.
address, please.
My name is Frank Squires. It's 12388 Starkey Road. So we
Can you
are.
hold on one second?
Oh, sorry.
Are there any opponents to this? No. Okay. Go ahead.
We have a large facility currently right now in Dublin, Ohio. We have about 12 acres large. So we have a big facility there, and we're only looking to expand down here and do a new setup. We're trying to do more of the AI we do only appointments basically in Ohio. Majority of our cars get shipped out because they're so low miles and they're really collectible vehicles. They just get shipped out to people's houses. So we're going to bring that down here to Florida because we buy a lot of our cars down here, and we set a pin currently in the location of St. Pete, which we get a lot of traffic from. So we know that we're going to be able to people ping it in Florida saying that they want a vehicle shipped, or we're going to purchase it. So it just gives us a good basis for storage and to allow our vehicles to be here. You can't leave them in the sun, so inside the building is perfect. We're not looking to make any changes or do anything. We're really big in our community as well. We do a lot of stuff with All Children's Hospital. We bring our vehicles out there, Kona Ice. We're real big community. We're a car dealership second. We had a bunch of Verizon stores. We had 109 of them. We sold them. And the owner of our company wanted to be a philanthropist. He wanted to really get in with people and help young guys that wanted to be entrepreneurs how to learn. So this was a catalyst for us to be able to connect with our community and people that are into the car world and teach them how to either obtain these vehicles or how to create a business. So we're not just a dealership, we're a little bit more than that, but the cars kind of allow us to have that connection piece.
Good. Sounds good.
Thank you.
What's the coolest thing you've sold?
We have
car guy.
We do a lot of Lamborghinis, Ferraris. Currently, right now, we have a 25 ZR1, the new Corvette. That's pretty cool. We sell like Demons. Like when we get a Hellcat, it's more or less like the top of the line, so a Red Eye or a Demon. So we get a lot of cool cars. It just depends on what you're trying to do for the evening.
You deal in like movie cars that were featured in movies like Aston Martins from James Bond?
We
and
do.
stuff?
We actually do get offers for vehicles like that as well. We actually were offered Tiger Woods' car, but because it had a bad Carfax, we actually denied the vehicle. That's actually the truth.
Was that the one that got hit?
Yes.
And it did.
That's funny. That's good.
It's a 5-iron in the
Yeah,
trunk.
5-iron in the, yeah,
Window.
really.
All right. So you're strictly an interior operation. You could be doing this and never have told us, and nobody would know because we wouldn't see it.
Well, everybody would know because we're pretty big in the community. We make a big noise because we give back. That's our biggest thing. We own a website called Giving Back Matters and also Inspire Happiness. These are really big things for us to really reach out. And again, if you look us up, Toy Barn Cars, even in Dublin, Ohio, where we're a huge staple out there. We've been in business for 25 years. And it was just like a little tiny barn. And when we bought it, we actually bought the 2 dealerships next to it and another Mitsubishi dealership. We own the whole post road. So we're looking to maybe do something out here, but we want to find a good spot to actually plant our feet down into Florida. This just found it's not the ideal spot because it's an old building, but we're going to try to convert it, make it look, bring it up to what it is in the inside for what we sell, But again, we're appointment only. People aren't even coming in. They're calling us saying, hey, I can't find that color combination anywhere. Can you just ship it to me? And that's what we do.
Okay.
Our cars also, I know that this was a concern in our last thing. We don't deal with big car carriers. We get cars in like single trailers because first
have
of
to
all, our
take care
cars
of
are,
them.
yes, our cars are so low and they're really expensive that we pay more money for shipping in these smaller trailers, in these smaller trucks. Our lot already is big enough because it has a loading dock. Trucks are already made to come in and out of there easily already. So I didn't think that was any of a concern just because that was something that was brought up. But other than that, I don't think we'll make any noise at all, and you guys will never even hear anything from us. Besides great stuff.
So maybe your money.
Everybody on this board's involved in do-good
Yeah,
charities in this
we're
community.
all keeping
so
notes
you can
on this.
expect to
Oh,
hear
that's
from
great.
I have no issue with this. I can see no reason not to approve this. I'm going to move for staff recommendation of the type 2 use approval in accordance with the findings of fact and in the staff report, along with the conditions that are also listed in the staff report.
Second.
Okay, there's a motion by Mr. Baumstein, a second by Mr. Bello for conditional approval. Is there any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? So it passes 7-0. You have your type 2.
Thank you.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate it.
Hope to see you in the
Forward to
community.
seeing it.
Absolutely, thank you.
All right. Oh, I got more stuff here. What do I have?
Move to approve the minutes of the
Thank you.
October 1 meeting.
Thank you.
Second?
Yeah, there you go. Wait.
There's a motion and a second to approve the minutes by Mr. Baumstein and Mr. Bello. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank you. That passes 7-0. And then we have an election to vote on the new chair and the new vice chair, which would be, if they accept, I guess, Alan
Request a
Baumstein.
written ballot.
A written ballot.
Paper, rock, scissors?
That's right. Which would be the new chair, Alan Baumstein, which is Dave Eggers' appointee, and then what am I doing? Jason Holloway, that is Chris Latvalas as vice chair. So is there a motion to make them the chair and vice chair?
I make the motion to make them chair and vice chair.
We gotta do them separately, unfortunately. Sorry. We do.
Separately?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, two votes.
Okay.
I make a
Motion for chair, then motion for-
Mr. Baumstein, chair.
Okay.
Second.
Second. Okay, there's a motion by Andrew and a second by Jose. Is there any discussion or any other volunteers? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's passes 7-0.
Make a motion to nominate Mr. Holloway for vice chair.
And I second.
And there's a motion from Andrew and Jose again to first and second to Jason as vice chair. God, I'm getting tired. Molly did way more than I did. That's all I can say. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, 7-0.
You're out of practice.
I know, I am.
You only made
God,
7 out of your 12 meetings.
Before we,
Mountain.
I know it.
before we adjourn, I have a quick note, something that I wrote down after I made my announcements earlier. And Mr. Baumstein brought it to our attention. There was a lobbyist. I know he tried to contact Mr. Baumstein. The argument from the lobbyist was, well, we haven't filed yet, so we can talk to the board members. That's not what the law says. If there's a reasonable expectation, if it's reasonably foreseeable that a matter could come before this board, then it is ex parte communication. It does violate our quasi judicial ordinance in our code, and I would avoid any of those conversations. We can let them talk here at the podium in an open meeting, but it causes you to have to make disclosures and sunshine law cures and all kind of things that we don't want to go through. So I would advise against, and they need to be registered with the county anyway as a lobbyist. So there's a lot of hair on that. I would just avoid speaking with them if they're saying, hey, we're talking about bringing this before the BOA. Then they say that, well, we're not there yet. Well, of course you are, because you're talking to the BOA members. So I mean, I didn't really get their logic anyway. But I would avoid those kind of discussions because they would run afoul of our ordinance.
The appeal in the Dreamland case, was that the horse?
No, the site in Lelman, that was the,
Couple months ago.
Oh, the old fire station that.
Yes.
Yes.
right,
Oh, geez.
right,
Who's doing?
What are the facts?
Heath is his last name, the petitioner, Jeremy Heath, I
Is
believe.
that a
is the
neighbor,
one.
a neighbor or something?
I can't talk too much
Okay,
about it.
okay.
He was
Okay.
a neighbor who was objecting to it, right? I
One
mean,
of
this
the-
isn't
one of-
it's not the applicant who's appealing, because we denied several of their operations and approved some.
Well, I can't talk a lot about it, but it's one of the it's a person who owns property in Lelman. His name's Heath is his last name.
Okay, well, good luck.
Just a heads up, though, if you get phone calls from people, it's open litigation now, so you don't have to talk to them.
Good.
And I wouldn't anyway.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
I'll send you my travel schedule for next year so that you'll know which meetings you're chairing.
Yeah, I think we're
Debbie only
adjourned.
gave me her travel schedule like a week
A
ahead.
week
each
ahead
day.
of time, yeah. Oops.
I do want to
I
let
think
you all
we're
know
adjourned.
that this is my last time
Why?
because I want to retire and go do something else. I have years.
Heard the plans were done.
This
I'm
is
over
there.
30 years in, and I'm kind of done with the governmental after the military, state of Florida and county.
Wow.
Time for me to go do something else. So one of my supervisors, one of the supervisors are going to move up and take over for me when I decide to pull the plug here. His name is Eric Jewett. He is one of my supervisors. He's very knowledgeable. So I just want to let you all know that I got to do something else, man. I'm government for a while, and I just want to do something else. So just letting you know.
Well, thank you for your time and
Yeah, thank you.
No worries.
Congratulations
your
on-
information.
No worries.
Yeah.
You've been a great support, really. You help a
I
lot.
tried.
I wouldn't want to go trekking in those
Oh, man,
neighborhoods
no
that you
kidding.
having to go all through all the time.
Right. Did we gavel out?
It was nice to have you one more time.
Yeah, thank
Did we
you.
officially gavel out?
Oh, yeah, I did. It's not very loud. I don't hit it.